Good afternoon. Welcome to the Instapreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Jimmy Cee, otherwise known as Jimmy Cee on social media. And I'm creating this podcast. Well, actually, today's the first episode, and I want to create this little introduction to let you know what this podcast is going to be about and what you can expect. So, diving into it, a little bit about myself. Born and raised in the suburbs of Chicago, Illinois. Pretty much lived here my whole life. I went to school for 2.5 years out in Colorado, where I finished with a business administration and finance degree from Fort Lewis College in Durango, Colorado. So why am I creating this podcast? Well, I'm 26 years old at the moment, and Tiger Woods actually just won, I think, his 15th Masters, so that was kind of cool to see. But why am I creating this? So right now, I'm 26 years old. I run the dog training at my family business. We own a business here since 1961. My grandparents started it in Glenview, Illinois. It is a dog kennel, spa. We have an indoor swimming pool. I run all the training. We do grooming. We pretty much do everything. If you go on vacation, we take care of your dog. But why am I creating this? Not only do I run the dog training there right now with help from my family, but I'm also starting my own business. It's an online dog training business called The Crafty Pup. So I'm starting The Crafty Pup, and then I'm actually starting this podcast. Now, this podcast is recently came to fruition. I've been wanting to do this for about the past year. I've been thinking, how cool would it be to come on here and talk to people and try and help people out, all over, just talking about my experience being a kid, 26 now, but when I started doing all this, I was 24, and just working a lot. But I look at work differently than most people. I don't mind work. I like doing what I'm doing, and I'm trying to grow and build an empire. So you got to start somewhere. But with that, in this day and age, there comes a lot of criticism. So that's kind of another reason why I created this podcast. I want to talk about starting your own business and the view, or one, your journey, my journey, but two, the hardships you face during it, because it's not all glitz and glamour. There's a lot of ups and downs. So that kind of, I guess we'll kind of dive into why am I creating this podcast instead of me just talking. So why am I creating this podcast? I want to help other people who are also starting their own business or do something for themselves, whether it's art, music, anything. The Instapreneur, the name came from Instagram, an entrepreneur, and I combined it into one. So a lot of people nowadays, they run their businesses solely through Instagram. So I was like, what a cool idea to create the Instapreneur podcast. And the Instapreneur is not only a brand I want to build, but I'm also going to be talking about my experiences and my journey, but I'm also going to have on guests. So whether it's friends, family, guests, just people who do something for themselves. Like I said, it could be music, it could be their own business, whatever it is, professional athletes, anything. So that's a little bit of why I created the podcast. Now, diving into running a business as a kid and growing another. So the hardest thing that I have kind of found in running one business, or I shouldn't say growing a business, because it was already a business when I came into it, but then we kind of added in the dog training. So the hardest thing is between running one business and starting another business is just time. There is only 24 hours in a day. Everyone has 24 hours. Now, what I will say has been a huge, it's a process. It doesn't just happen overnight. It's like I'm trying to better manage my time. So when I first graduated college, I got distracted by everything and anything, by a lot of people, social media, whatever it is. It's very easy to get distracted in, especially in today's day and age. So with that being said, in my journey through working at the kennel, running the dog training, and starting my own online business is, like I said, time management. So I found that a good thing that I'll do is on the weekends, I usually don't work at my family business. I try and allocate that to my other business. So what I'll do is, now don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect on this. I'm still trying to get better every day. But I will put in my phone like 10:30 a.m. The alarm goes off, and that's like work on the Crafty Pup till noon. and then go work out, and then come back and work on it. So I found that scheduling really helps. Now, like I said, I'm not perfect at it by any means. I'm trying to get better and better every day. But when you see that alarm go off on your phone, it's almost like getting a text message from a friend saying, like, do this now. So it's been proven when you go by a schedule, you're going to be far more productive. So if you look at bigs like, well, you can look at the presidents, or you can even look at, like Warren Buffett and all these bigwig guys in business. Their day is scheduled out for them. So there's like very minimal wasted time. So that's one thing I've learned is time management. But like I said, that's a process, and in other episodes I'll hear other people's insights and some tricks that they do. Another struggle is, well, I guess now I'm kind of over that. But when I first started doing this, it was hard because friends and people are always texting you on the weekends and stuff to go out, and you don't want to have FOMO, which is, if you don't know what that is fear on missing out. But in the same time, it's like, do you want to go out, spend a lot of money, get drunk, wake up the next morning, feel like shit, and then you're supposed to get stuff done? Well, that usually doesn't work. So starting off, that was a big thing for me, is like turning down invitations to go out, because you want to go out, you want to hang out with your friends, you want to meet people and blah blah blah. But at the same time, if you want to achieve your goals, there's an opportunity cost. So you're going to have to take sacrifices along the way of achieving your goals, or whatever you're striving for. So for me, I couldn't go out as much. So I told myself for a while, I'm going to go out once a month, occasionally twice a month, but usually I go out once a month, and that was my time to go out and have some drinks with friends and go downtown Chicago to the bars. However, what I have found is during that time, when I would go out, like I said, I'd come home, and we get home at 3 or 4 in the morning. Not only am I spending at least $100 every time I go out, but now the next day I totally feel like shit. I start off way slower than normal. I stay in bed longer than normal, and my workouts were always affected. Now, one thing about me is I love to work out. I work out like 5 to 6 times a week. Not only just I don't do it just for the looks of it. For me, that's like where I clear my mind. So like a lot of people, they just drink to clear their mind, or do drugs or smoke, whatever it is. Whereas my outlet, and if you haven't done it, I strongly suggest it, is working out. You can lift weights, you can run, you can swim, you can do P90X. I mean, there's a million things you can do. And like I said, it's all a process. It doesn't just happen overnight. If you never work out, you're not just going to probably hop into the gym and start working out 5 or 6 days a week, for the next year. You might, but it's a process. So that's a big struggle that I dealt with early on. However, now, honestly, I don't go out much at all, but to me, that's fine. I'm fine with hanging out, reading at night, trying to expand my knowledge, teaching myself new things. But that was definitely a struggle starting off. Now, another thing is maintaining like a work-life balance. So a lot of people will judge you, or have judged me, because like, dude, like, you're young, you need to go out, have fun, like, live life, blah, blah, blah. I just want to say, be careful who you take criticism from, because if say your dreams or your goals are shooting for the moon, and someone else is not as high on their goals, you guys are going to have different priorities. So some people on their weekends, they might like to go out every night and go out, have some drinks with friends, and have a slow start to the next day, and just hang out and watch Netflix, or I don't know, do whatever they want to do. That's totally fine. However, other people have other goals. So for me, my goal, I want to be able to start businesses and grow businesses, and then either sell them or just see where they can go. So that takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication, especially when you're working full time, and then you're starting a side hustle that you eventually would like to see produce results of that, of a full income job. So, it just comes back down to what you're shooting for, what your goals are. Okay, anyways, maintaining that work-life balance, got a little sidetracked there, as I tend to do. What I have found to be very good is, like I said, the gym. Or recently, I started meditating every day. So I meditate at least once, usually twice a day for like 20 to 30 minutes. I just literally go to YouTube, type in meditation music, and see what I'm feeling for the day, pop it on, either my computer or my phone. If I put it on my phone, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb mode so I do not get any calls or notifications. And I literally just sit there, lay on my back, and just breathe for 20 or 30 minutes. We'll touch on this in further episodes too, but that's actually where I got this idea to do this podcast. Like I said, the idea was born over a year ago, but just last week I was meditating, and I was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You've been wanting to create this podcast, like, let's fucking go. Now I kind of question myself here, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? You're crazy. You're already working full time running the dog training, and you're starting an online business that needs work, and now you're starting a podcast. But that's just how my mind works. It goes at a million miles an hour all the time. Okay, so maintaining work-life balance is very important, but like I said, I personally think my work-life balance might be different than Steve's or Joe's or yours. You know what I mean? Like, we all have different agendas and different goals. So depending on what it is, I think you take that term lightly, because so many people are so harsh to judge you because they just live by the norms, where it's like, dude, if you're trying to do something different, your norm's going to be different than theirs. Alrighty, so that is a little bit about me in the first episode of this. In the coming episodes, what you can expect, we'll talk a little about that. Like I said, I'm going to be talking about my experiences, my journeys, my struggles, my hardships, how I've overcame them. I'm very mentally strong. I'll talk about the importance of building mental power. However, though, there's going to be downs too. I'm going to have friends, family, guests on, talking through their experiences. And it's kind of interesting, because if you think of it, how many people do you know, good friends, family, whoever, that do specific things, but you really deep down, you don't know their why. You don't know why they do it. So I think my podcast here in the Instapreneur is going to be a good source, a good outlet for me to talk with people and just to get their message out, to get my message out, but also to dive down deeper into a conversation. Because I want you to think about something for a second. Think about how many like real good conversations you have. Like, maybe you have a lot, but in this fast-paced world with social media and everything going on, it's not like it used to be, where you sit down and talk to someone for an hour or two and like really get to know them. Usually, I mean, obviously, I'm sure that happens. It does happen still, but not always. A lot of times, you very briefly know someone, but you don't exactly know why they're doing what they're doing. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, so this is my first little episode, first time doing it. If I rambled on a little bit, sorry. I haven't even practiced. This was just first time on here, and we're going right at it. So I'm going to cut this off here in a second. Most episodes I'm shooting, they're probably going to be closer to 30 minutes to an hour, or maybe a little bit over if we start talking about some good stuff, and once I start getting seasoned in this and kind of learning how it goes. So with that being said, I just want to summarize kind of what we went over. I created the Instapreneur Podcast to show or talk about my journey, get my message out there, to bring on guests, talk about their journey, their struggle, and how they overcome them. And then also, I'm going to be sharing some tips on things that I've learned from very smart people, and hopefully I'm going to gain some more knowledge from my guests that I have on the show. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Right now, if you want to follow us on social media, you can follow me on Instagram. I don't have any other accounts yet, but my Instagram account is and there's a period, Instapreneur. So it's @Instapreneur, and I'm going to be posting, starting to post stuff on there as far as motivational stuff and just insights, tips, and little clips from our podcast episodes. So with that being said, you guys have a great day. Like I said, Tiger Woods just won his 15th Masters, and I'm actually about to go head to the gym right now and work out before I come back and work on my other business. So with that being said, everyone have a great day. This is Jimmy Cee, host of the Instapreneur, and we're out.